Two people book a 7-night Caribbean cruise on different ships, same week, same region, roughly the same cabin type. One walks off the ship having spent $4,200 all in, the other spent $2,800 and had a butler. That gap is real. It's documented. And it's exactly the kind of thing that disappears into the fine print when you're comparing cruise lines by their glossy brochures. Today we're cutting through all of that and ranking every major cruise line strictly on one thing: what you actually get for what you actually pay. This is not about which line has the fanciest ships or the most Instagram-worthy pools. It's about value. Real, measurable, dollar-for-dollar value. And the line sitting at number 1 on this list is almost certainly not the one you're expecting. Let's start at the bottom and work our way up. Nobody questions the quality on Disney ships. The shows are spectacular, the crew-to-guest ratio is among the highest in the industry, and the kids' clubs are genuinely unlike anything else afloat. But when you run the numbers on what you're actually paying per night, Disney consistently comes in at 60 to 100% above comparable sailings on Royal Caribbean or Carnival, according to cruise critic pricing data cited by NerdWallet in 2026. A 7-night Caribbean inside cabin on Disney runs $1,400 to $1,900 per person. On Royal Caribbean's newest ships, the same itinerary runs $550 to $710 per person. That's a gap of roughly $1,700 per person for a week at sea. Some of that premium buys you real things: the Disney IP, the character experiences, the theater productions, but a lot of it is simply the brand name. If you don't have children or lifelong Disney fans in your group, you are paying for a premium that doesn't translate into proportional value. The bottom line: Disney is the most expensive line in the mainstream segment. And the value equation only works if the Disney experience itself is specifically what you're after. Norwegian's pitch is freedom. No fixed dining times, no dress codes, no rigid structure. And that pitch is real. The freestyle model genuinely works. But here's the catch that the marketing doesn't lead with. The best version of the Norwegian experience isn't in the base fare. Specialty dining on NCL typically runs $30 to $60 per person per venue. The drink packages that make the freestyle bar experience actually work cost $83 to $100 per person per day in 2026. Wi-Fi adds another $20 to $30 per day. By the time you've added those back in, Norwegian's affordable base fare has climbed into territory that rivals Celebrity Cruises, a line that bundles most of those things into a more honest upfront price. Norwegian does a few things better than almost anyone: solo traveler cabins, Broadway caliber shows, and a nightlife scene that's genuinely vibrant. But for overall value, the gap between what's advertised and what you'll actually spend puts NCL toward the bottom of this ranking. Royal Caribbean is the most popular cruise line in North America, and for good reason. The ships are extraordinary. Icon of the Seas, the largest cruise ship ever built at 250,800 gross tons, carries everything from a water park to a botanical garden. The entertainment is polished, the itineraries are extensive, and the family programming sets the standard for the industry. But popularity has a price. A 7-night Caribbean balcony for 2 adults on Royal's newest ships runs $1,800 to $3,200, according to 2026 pricing tracked by Right Way Travel. That's before drink packages, specialty dining, and Wi-Fi, all of which cost extra. Royal is also the benchmark against which every other line in this ranking gets measured, which means when another line offers a comparable experience for significantly less money, Royal drops in a value ranking even if the product itself is excellent. The honest verdict is that Royal Caribbean is one of the best cruise experiences you can buy. It's just not one of the most efficient ones. Carnival has the lowest base fares of any major mainstream line for Caribbean sailings departing from US ports. That's not marketing, that's what the pricing data consistently shows. A 7-night Caribbean sailing on Carnival regularly comes in under $1,000 per person for an interior cabin, and the line runs frequent promotions that push that number lower still. But here's where Carnival's value story gets complicated. Gratuities on Carnival increased to $17 per person per day for standard cabins in April 2026, $19 for suites. Over a 7-night sailing for 2, that's $238 in gratuities alone before a single drink or shore excursion. The drink packages are among the most expensive in the industry, at around $83 to $100 per person per day. And unlike some competitors, Carnival doesn't bundle these into tiered fare packages, which means the sticker price and the real cost can diverge significantly. Carnival earns its place at number 4 because the base fare genuinely is low, and And for travelers who go easy on the extras, the value holds up. But the all-in cost for a typical Carnival passenger is often higher than it looks on the booking page. Celebrity does something that the lines above it largely don't. It prices honestly. The lines always included fare structure, bundles a classic drink package, Wi-Fi, and gratuities into the base fare on most sailings, which means the number you see up front is much closer to what you'll actually pay. When you account for those inclusions, Celebrity's pricing often lands competitive with Norwegian and Royal Caribbean on a true all-in basis, and the product consistently outperforms both at that price point. The Edge-class ships are among the most beautifully designed vessels in the industry. Dining quality is genuinely strong, with multiple complimentary restaurants running different menus each night. Service staff ratios are high and the crew quality shows. Celebrity's positioning, upscale without being stuffy, makes it one of the clearest value propositions in the premium segment. You're getting close to a luxury experience at mainstream adjacent prices, and you're not getting nickel and dimed for the things that make a cruise feel complete. Virgin Voyages is adults only, and it builds that constraint into an all-inclusive model that's genuinely unusual for this price tier. All dining is included across more than 20 venues, from Korean barbecue to late-night pizza to a vegetarian tasting menu. Wi-Fi is included, group fitness classes are included, basic beverages including sodas and still water are included. When you stack those inclusions against comparable sailings on Norwegian or Royal, the real cost gap narrows considerably, and the product Virgin delivers at that price: modern art throughout the ship, a nightlife program that actually runs late, entertainment that feels curated rather than generic, punches well above the fare class. The two limitations are real. A smaller fleet means fewer itinerary options, and the adults-only policy eliminates a significant share of the market. But for the traveler it's designed for, Virgin Voyages represents exceptional value in the contemporary segment. Here's the number that explains this ranking: 20 to 30%. That's how much less MSC consistently charges compared to Royal Caribbean for comparable cabin categories and itineraries, according to 2026 pricing data from Rightway Travel and 360 Cruising. A 7-night Caribbean balcony for two that runs $1,800 to $3,200 on Royal Caribbean runs $1,200 to $1,800 on MSC. The gap is consistent across booking windows and markets, but the fare differential is only half the story. The other half is the MSC Yacht Club, and this is where the value case becomes genuinely difficult to argue against. The Yacht Club is MSC's ship-within-a-ship concept. Book into it, and you access a private section of the vessel with its own keycard-restricted entrance, 3 dedicated restaurants, a private lounge, a private pool deck, and a 24-hour butler and concierge team. Also included in the fare, a premium drink package, Wi-Fi, priority embarkation and disembarkation, reserved seating at all shows, and access to the ship's thermal spa. The price for all of that on MSC World America, MSC's newest and largest ship, launched in 2025, runs approximately $7,000 for 2 people for 7 nights, all in. On Royal Caribbean's Icon of the Seas, a balcony cabin for 2 with drink package, Wi-Fi, and gratuities, added separately runs to a comparable total, and delivers none of the butler service, private restaurant access, or exclusive deck space. To put the Yacht Club in competitive context, Norwegian's Haven Suite product averages approximately $1,287 per person per day. Royal Caribbean's Sky Suites run approximately $1,250 per person per day. Celebrity's Retreat runs $1,000 to $1,300 per person per day. MSC Yacht Club averages approximately $778 per person per day for an interior suite category and $1,000 per person per day for a balcony suite, according to pricing data tracked by Digital Romads across hundreds of sailings in 2026. That's a savings of more than $2,000 over a 7-night sailing compared to equivalent products on competing lines. MSC also has the lowest daily gratuity rates in the mainstream segment at $14 to $16 per person per day, compared to Carnival's post-April 2026 rate of $17 to $19. And their drink packages run $59 to $79 per person per day, meaningfully below Norwegian's and Carnival's equivalent packages. The objection most American cruisers raise is fair. MSC has a more international European feel on board, and the English first service culture that dominates Royal Caribbean and Carnival isn't always present. On some ships and some sailings, inconsistency in the general ship experience has been documented. But inside the yacht club, that inconsistency disappears. The service is dedicated, the dining is private, and the experience is controlled in a way that the open ship product isn't. And the price advantage over every equivalent product in the market is not marginal. It's substantial and consistent. When you measure every major cruise line purely on the ratio of what you get to what you pay, MSC Cruises sits at the top of the list. Not because it's the most famous line in North America, not because it has the biggest ships, but because the math, run honestly, points in one direction. Every line on this list does something well. Disney delivers an experience no other brand can replicate. Royal Caribbean builds ships that genuinely feel like cities. Virgin Voyages reinvented what an all-inclusive model looks like at sea. Celebrity prices more honestly than almost anyone in the premium segment. None of them are bad choices, they're just more or less efficient depending on what you actually need. The mistake most cruisers make isn't picking a bad line, it's picking based on familiarity or marketing rather than on what the numbers say about what they'll actually receive for what they'll actually spend. Value doesn't mean cheap. It means the gap between what you pay and what you get is as small as possible. On that measure, one line consistently wins, and for most American cruisers, it's a line they've never seriously considered. That's the part worth thinking about before the next booking.